Never give up. Your victory is just around the corner. That's one of my favorite sayings. But what if victory does not come in the first year? What if it doesn't come in the second year? And if you're really passionate about it, then no problem waiting for the third year. What about the fourth year? And what, do you have the stamina for a fifth year? Our next guest has that stamina. She captured the Tampa Pro on her sixth attempt. Yes. Welcome to Femplex Friday, Jeannie Feldman.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm honored.
Yeah.
I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, that's massive.
Wow, 6 years in a row you gave it a try.
I did.
And we've seen you doing all of that. But this year, you've got it. Out of a field, how many competitors? It was a huge lineup.
29 or 30. 29 for sure.
My God.
Yeah.
That's massive. That's amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm over the moon, happy. Finally, I got my day.
Yeah, so the first one was you placed 10th, the first Tampa
right.
Pro,
That was,
right?
yes.
And then you pretty much consistently placed in the top 5,
Yes.
I believe, in Tampa.
Correct.
I know you got second once, right?
I did.
Second?
I think
Twice,
Yeah.
second.
Close, but not quite.
Yeah, but
Frustrating.
you stayed consistent.
Yeah. I fought for it.
How many years have you been competing as a pro?
As a pro, 2017.
Okay. So, and then you qualified 3 of these years, right, for the Olympia?
Including this one.
That's right.
I qualified twice with points, 2019 and 2020.
That's awesome. So in 6 years, 3 Olympia qualifications, and you competed quite a lot, didn't you?
I did a lot of shows.
To get on point, yeah.
Yeah. And the women's physique division is deep. So very impressive that you qualified on points, even because I believe points only go to the top 5, right?
Top
5.
Correct.
So that means that I know you've done over 10 professional IFBB shows where you've placed top 5 consistently. So that shows that you're like fierce.
Well, that's what kept me going because I was right there. So I could not give up. I knew that I was right there. So I just had to hang in there and, come in better, work harder. And I knew I was going to get my win at one point or another. So I finally got it.
So you finally got it.
Yes.
Yeah. So this year, in the previous years, qualifying on points, you competed. Usually you would do New York Pro. I've seen you do New York Pro. I'm not sure how many times. The Chicago Pro. I think you've done it twice.
Correct.
Twice or 3 times. And this year you chose to not do Chicago or New York. So tell us about your planning for this Tampa Pro.
I decided to take more time, not do as many shows because I saw that my body was definitely taking a toll on my body. And by the time I got to the Olympia, I was not looking the way that I wanted to look because of my body being so tired. I wasn't responding anymore. So I had to rethink things and say, maybe take a break and, focus on my weaknesses and what I need to do in order to get that win instead of having to chase points to get to the Olympia like I did previously. So I took the time, I let my body rest and, worked very hard on my conditioning, which I think was really
it was on
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
This time it was on point, and I worked very
So
hard.
are these the keys to your success to this show? Taking the enough time
Yes.
to work hard and recover, and then working on conditioning.
100%, yes. Taking the time, working on the conditioning, and working. My legs have always been my weakness, so focusing on getting the legs up a bit, and it paid off. So
And you said you turned pro in 2017?
correct.
Have you turned pro as a physique competitor?
I did. My first show I did as a figure competitor.
Okay. How long ago was
Yeah,
that?
That was 2016.
Okay, you started competing in 16.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. I did my first NPC show, and I qualified for nationals, the Miami Nationals. And that year, the 2017, I got my pro card.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
as a
fast.
physique competitor. I decided 10 days before to change from figure to physique.
But you've been successful as a physique competitor from the beginning
Right.
as a pro, right?
Yes, yes.
And what do you attribute this to? Do you think is your conditioning, your shape? What do you think? Why have you been successful from the get-go?
I believe it was, I guess, the muscle maturity that I had, the shape, my shape.
Okay.
You know, my back is very developed, and which I'm happy I made the change to women's physique because that's one of my things is my back, so I can I can show my back, and I think I was I guess more developed for women's physique than figure.
But how did you know? I mean, like, who
This
helped
makes
you
me
make that
curious
decision?
about
to
your trajectory,
Right, because
exactly.
you turn pro in figure, right? You say, and then
Yeah.
you compete your first time as a pro in women's physique. So tell us how you made that
Well,
decision.
that was a decision. My husband is my coach, and just seeing my body just change, and just people just looking at me and saying, "Well, maybe, your body's a little bit more muscular than so maybe you should be in the physique versus the figure." But it was a decision that me and my husband made together. He's my coach, so we're like, well, let's give it a shot. And
This makes me want to know, when did you start lifting, like overall, ever?
I've always been very athletic, but I was into CrossFit for many years. Yes. So
How many
I
years
did that competitively.
did you compete there
Yes,
too?
I was a competitor. Yeah.
Okay, and how did that go?
I did well.
Yeah?
I did very well. Yeah, I did. I made it to Masters Regionals, which is really good in the CrossFit world. But I got tired. My body was getting tired of pounding on it, so I wanted to try something a little different. My husband was a bodybuilder.
How many years did you do CrossFit for?
I did it for a good 6 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you switched to lifting and being like, let's say, bodybuilder for
I said,
like
let me give it a shot. And it turned out good, so.
Okay. Is there something you still miss from the CrossFit years?
Yeah, I guess maybe a little bit. I mean, it's a different intensity of a workout, but I do miss a little bit of that intensity, fast, pace workouts that I used to do before. But for the most part, I love bodybuilding.
Okay. Because I know CrossFit is also, there's a lot of competitiveness involved, even in the day-to-day training, right? It's not
Yes.
just on the competition day.
Right.
So I don't know if you were driven by that or driven by the fact that you wanted to like break some records or be better than your colleague, or like the drive. What was the drive?
Yeah, the competitiveness of it. Yeah, definitely. I definitely thrive on the competitive part.
So
of it.
how do you translate that into bodybuilding world now?
I just push myself hard, I love lifting heavy. I love, challenging myself, even though it's a slower pace, but it's still, it's still an intense workout, and I love it.
So was it hard to slow down as far as like the pace?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I wanted to rush through everything. I wanted to do everything fast, so I had to reprogram my mind.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask. What was the change? What did you have to change or switch in your brain to train from one style of training to another style?
100%. I had to slow it down and just, I would catch myself, or my husband, while he was training me, would tell me, slow it down. And then eventually I was able to reprogram my mind to slow it down.
So your husband, when you were competing, was he you were already married, and so you knew of the bodybuilding world because of him.
Yes.
And so when you moved from CrossFit, it was just easy. You knew of women bodybuilders. You understood the sport. You've been to shows and all of that. I see.
I had a good good idea of what it entailed. I just, when you start the dieting, that's a whole other thing.
Okay.
That was the tough part.
Okay.
That was the hardest part for me in the beginning.
Yeah. But you observed him diet.
I did.
Yeah.
I did. Yeah.
So,
and I was
okay.
like,
So you
I can do this.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you just the fact when I look at your conditioning, like we were talking about going from figure right into women's physique, and women's physique, the athletes, like the glutes and just, it's conditioning is key.
Yeah.
You seem to not have any problems in that area.
No.
Because from the pictures of, I saw the pics of you when you placed 10th.
Yeah.
And you were just, placing 10th is not easy in women's physique at the Tampa Pro.
Yeah.
So.
I'm very, I guess, disciplined in that sense. I know that's, without the diet or without, the conditioning, a lot of times you can't show the definition of all the hard work that you do in the gym. So that's key, but every time, I had to bring it up a notch even more and more. So.
Yeah.
So how come that you got your husband as a trainer from the get-go, right?
Yes.
And how does that work? It's
it has its days. Sometimes it's not so easy. Sometimes there's a little, bickering back and forth. But at the end of the day, he knows what he's doing, and he's my coach. I gotta listen.
Yeah, you consistently improve.
Yeah.
So there's no question that
is he coaching other athletes as well?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he does. He coaches other athletes as well. So I guess he knows what he's doing. So he's got me this far.
And you had to accept it, right?
I do. I gotta zip my mouth and listen to what he says.
Yeah. So I was really curious because it's how do you get better? So what did you do to make the difference of, first of all, it's challenging to allow yourself to know I can improve and be better and be leaner. So what did you do? What was the protocol? What was the plan of action to be leaner? Did you start, some people in the off season, they carry too much weight, and then they realize I need to have more control in that area. So what was your story?
I think it was a combination of everything. When I'm in my off season, I don't like to go above 15 pounds above what I am when it goes to my stage weight. I usually stay within that realm and I maintain that so that I don't have to put my body through the stress of starting all over again and having to lose that weight. So I think that, and then going into this show, into Tampa, I really cracked down on cutting down a lot more carbs and, doing 2-a-day cardios and, eating a lot less carbs than I did other times just to see where my body would look like and if I could still hold on to that muscle. And I did. So I realized that my body can actually do better with less carbs and get lean but still hold on to that muscle.
So that change, it took place during the actual dieting phase. It wasn't anything on the off season. Like you said, you maintain, you never go 15 pounds over.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as we went along and getting ready for the Tampa, we started playing around with that and seeing with the carbs. And of course, if I would have gone flat too much, then maybe we'd up the carbs. But it worked. It really did. It got me to the conditioning that I needed to be.
Okay. Well, we're going to take a quick break and come back and get some more details in regards to your nutrition and how you come in such amazing shape. We'll be back.
You diet down, train hard, and supplement smart for months. When the time comes to step on stage, don't leave your tan to chance. Go with the pros. Pro Tan. #1 worldwide since 1987 and the official sponsor of the Olympia for the last 15 years. Don't step on stage without it. Pro Tan.
And we are back with Jeannie Feldman. Okay, we left off talking about that diet.
Yes.
And gosh, you guys, I mean, your conditioning as far as like the glutes, like to me on a woman, when you see some striations or you see the leanness, you just go, amazing conditioning. So we'll get into the diet, but like when did that first like start? Like, so when did you start to see that on your body? Because it took, like my first reign, there were no striations.
Oh, definitely. It took me a long time.
It did not exist.
Get down to those striations.
Right. It took a while,
glutes.
and people just think that that's just something that's a given, that is supposed to come. That and that
Yeah.
So let's talk about that type of conditioning and.
I mean, I started seeing it a little bit last year. You can see the little striations coming in, but I focused a lot this year on training my glutes and my hamstrings, like isolation. I really focused on it a lot, and I think that really made a big difference on the definition, and on top of it being so conditioned, it showed it even more.
How many times a week do you train your glutes and hamstrings?
I will do I'll do my quads, and then I'll touch them a little bit, my hamstrings and glutes at the same time, and then I'll do a day of just hamstrings and glutes and yeah. So.
And how long are your workouts? I'm just curious, like how many exercises, how many sets when you say training glutes and
I usually
hammies?
like to do 4 sets, 4 or 5 sets. Yeah. So yeah, sometimes on the glutes and the hamstrings, maybe a little bit more.
Yeah.
I've been focusing on doing a lot of one-legged, squats and stuff like that. I think that really made a big difference.
I love that.
Do you have like a choice of cardio type? Like the step mill?
Yeah, that's
the
my
step
go-to.
mill. Oh, yeah, that was what, yeah.
That is my go-to, yeah.
Yeah, I remember having to incorporate the step mill into my workout when I returned from the Olympia, because the step mill didn't exist in the early 90s.
You're
and
right.
Then, so the coach said, you have to do the step mill. I'm like, are you kidding me? And then he wanted me to do it twice a day.
Yeah.
And but I feel that really did help me.
Oh, yeah.
Made a major difference. So how many times a day did you do cardio?
I did
twice a day?
I'll do my fasted cardio in the mornings. I'll do about anywhere between 30 to 40 minutes, 45 sometimes. And then after my post-workout, I'll do another 30 to 45 minutes, depending on how much I need or, But yeah, twice a day.
Yeah, so you did split training as far as the weight training. When you said post, you did did you split body parts up? Do a body part, so you do cardio,
right?
Then you did a body part, and then you come back, in the evening or second, or did you do that?
No, I would do my morning cardio, my morning fasted cardio. Take a little bit of a break, eat something, come back, do my workout, and then do my cardio, my post cardio, and that's it. Okay,
again, and then that would be in a time period frame of what? How many hours?
Usually I'll do my 7 in the morning. I'm doing my fasted cardio. Go back home by 11. I like to do my training.
Okay, I see.
Yeah, I like to get it out of the way.
As far as diet is concerned, what types of diets have you tried? Because I understand that you're manipulating carbs right now, but did you try any other forms of diets?
No, I really always stuck to the basic, bodybuilding diet of, just manipulating the carbs and leaving out all the fats, none of the fruits, all of just the basic.
What kind of, how does it differ compared to your CrossFit years?
Oh my gosh. We used to eat so much and throw in so many fats because we would think that the fats were what gave you the energy, but big difference in the diet. You basically in CrossFit you eat everything just to fuel the body for energy.
But just judging by your structure, I imagine that you still have the same muscular and lean-looking physique, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah,
I did.
You could see your abs all year round, right?
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah. I mean, but we did so many workouts. I mean, we would do 3-4 workouts a day.
What?
Yeah.
4 workouts a day?
Oh, yeah, we
How
would-
does it even translate into reality?
I mean, it would be everything from like you fast. I mean, it could be short workouts, but very intense. Could be last for 5 minutes, and then you do your Olympic weightlifting for a good hour. You know, but my husband would get mad at me because I'd spend hours. He's like, "When are you coming home?" But yeah.
That's fascinating. I've never tried CrossFit. My perspective on that is that because you need your core for so many
Right.
exercises as a bodybuilder, it's probably not that good and that advised to do.
Right.
So even as I had clients as a trainer, I would always be like, when you prep for this show, do not go to do CrossFit.
100%. I had to give it up 100%.
Yeah.
And I got lucky that I didn't get wide in the
Yeah,
midsection.
your waist is small.
Yeah, I got very lucky because a lot of the stuff that we did definitely would make you, and you see the CrossFit girls are very square in the center. So thank God I didn't have.
What kind of classical exercises that you used to do in CrossFit you're not doing now anymore or stay away from?
I mean, it used to be very what we call clean and jerks
or
and
deadlifts, like
lifting up the weight and then lifting it over your head and stuff like that.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so and things that you can really get injured. Very, I don't know how I didn't get injured, but thank God I didn't. And a lot of heavy but quick at the same time. That and a lot of gymnastic movements.
A lot of gymnastic movements?
Yeah.
So what do you mean? Like you guys had to, in CrossFit?
Yeah, there's what you call ring muscle ups, on the rings, and you do the muscle ups and stuff like that. And so that's where I developed my back.
Okay.
A lot, yeah.
Those can be kind of hard on your joints though, right?
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I stopped, because my body was tired.
Well, you know what I was really impressed with when I looked at your history and you first competed in the NPC and you competed in Masters, right? And you had one Masters event that you competed.
Did, yes.
One.
Yes.
And I was sitting there thinking, gosh, she looks great. Because Masters for us, all of us are Masters,
right?
Pretty much, so it's nothing to be like talking about age or Masters anything over 35. And I was like, I never even thought of her as being a master.
Thank you.
And so at the Tampa Pro, I know they had Masters. And I watched the Masters division on Thursday and saw several of the women's physique competitors that competed with you. So did you ever think of doing Masters? What do you think about Masters when you see a competitor? Because open means you're like, hey, listen, I don't want to say I'm the shit, but I'm just,
right.
I'm not.
I want to go with the best.
Right,
of the best.
right. So is that your thinking?
Pretty
much.
Well, number one, I did do a Masters one time in the Chicago Pro. I think that was my first time. Then I thought to myself, okay, but my goal is, I want to make it to the Olympia.
Okay.
So, I figured, my goal is to make it to the Olympia. And it's nice to honor the Masters and do it. It's great. I think it's wonderful. But for me, my goal is the Olympia. So I just want to go straight in there. I want to be with the girls that are going to the Olympia and be with the, any age, go against all ages.
So what's your opinion on combining those two? The Masters Olympia, right? There's been a lot of talk in the industry about it, right?
Interesting. Why not? Why not? I personally, either way, it's fine, for me. Yeah, I can compete with the 20-year-olds and be fine.
Yes.
And I'm okay with it. And then, whoever's meant to be on the Olympia stage is going to make it, whether you're a Masters or you're in your 20s,
Yeah. Because I know, and that's the common conversation that we all have. Because I only remember being close to Masters my entire Olympia career. I think I was in my late 20s, and then, but most of us were all over 35. And so then you question, okay, so you have the Masters division, like, what competitors, what age should that be? Is there an age that it should be? So, yeah. But, yeah, I was just that was just the first thought when I looked at your history.
Okay.
I said, wow, she's a master? Well, you know, you look amazing.
Thank you.
You really do.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, but I'm happy being up there with the young girls.
That's right.
And, you know, I like the competitiveness of it. If I know I could stand up there with them, you know, why not?
Yeah, because I have heard from women that, I don't know if the ones that cross over into masters, that they don't want to, it's about the judge also, the judges, like the opinion of the judges, like, okay, if I compete in masters and then you see me as a master now, like, no, see me as a advanced competitor. I'm an Olympia champion.
Right.
Yeah, so.
I would think, yeah, I've always wondered.
They think about that.
I wondered if they do, maybe, I guess, frown upon it.
Yeah, or if it puts something in their head.
Right. You
know. Yeah, because I thought about the women's physique division on that Thursday. I watched the Masters, and I remember some of the girls that you competed against back in the day, and they would be like very lean.
Right.
You know, and then I saw a difference in their physique, and it was as if they kind of like let go and said, you know, just something happened where they decided, okay.
Right.
I want to compete, kind of slow it down or something.
And do that.
I do believe, though, that the Masters division is a very good division, and especially when it concerns more muscular divisions like women's bodybuilding and women's physique. Because if you are too young, you lack the density and the maturity of the muscle that's necessary to be successful in this division. So I feel that anywhere between 35, even up to 50, I think that the ladies in these divisions, they come in their prime, right?
Yes.
And only it's from a physique point of view, right?
That's right.
I think that the master division, it's actually very, very strong. And then, of course, I feel like maybe after 50, we start to see some skin, or, you know, the muscles get a little bit flat and not as full. But between 35 and 50, I think that a lot of competitors that compete in the open, they look amazing.
Exactly.
In the master
And there's a lot of them.
Yeah. So that's why I don't think that the masters division shouldn't have a stain on it at all. You know?
No, I agree with you.
Not at all.
Matter of fact, I mean, I personally, looking at the competitors in the Masters division and their age, and I thought, because they had over 55, over 50, and I was like, wow, like they're standing up there in the bright lights, and I know my age, and I'm like, she's only literally like 3 years younger than me, or 4, and I would never be up there under those bright lights. Like, she's badass. Like,
it is,
really. So it was a benefit, you know. I just,
I mean, it's impressive.
It's impressive.
It really
is.
I mean, I didn't get into bodybuilding into my older years. You know, I didn't do it as a younger athlete. But I think it actually benefited me being the age that I am because of the muscle maturity.
Yes. Because you trained before. It's not like you started doing bodybuilding, doing nothing before, right?
Right.
Did you do anything else before cross track?
No. I was always, I mean, I worked out, but here and there, but nothing, you know, competitively. But
Your first show in bodybuilding, what do you think was your main lack when you look back at your pictures?
My legs, my skinny little legs,
So that you knew right from the start that that's what you got to improve.
Yeah. My upper body was always good, you know, always developed, but my legs, I mean, actually, my first show, I came in really conditioned, and it was the southern states, and I mean, they looked great, but they were just straight, you know. So that's my legs. I knew that I had to bring them up, and it's still my my weakness that I need to work on. So
it's good. It's always going to keep you up there, paying attention to it and working hard for it, right?
Yes, always pushing.
And we're going to come with more questions for you after this short commercial break.
People always ask how I got here. I was willing to work just a little harder than everyone else. Every damn day. If I can have hundreds of hours back, you know I'm gonna grab them. Spending hours prepping chicken, rice, and vegetables, F that. I rely on perfect nutrition. I rely on trifecta.
Back with our Tampa Pro Women's Physique Champion, Jeannie Feldman. So tell me, how, the feeling after prejudging this year, and you know, the thoughts, everything that happened after prejudging, being in your room and waiting.
Well, I came off the stage after prejudging and I started crying. I was just very emotional. I mean, I didn't know 100% if I won or not, but I was just so happy with the package that I brought. I felt so good, regardless whether it would have been second place. I was just so happy. So I went up to my room and I didn't want to look at anything. I didn't want to see anything. I just wanted to focus on the next step, what I needed to do to go get my win, do my routine, and hopefully, you know, it was first place, and that's the way it turned out. I was just picturing that moment when they were going to give me my sword and tell me, Jeannie Feldman, first place.
Well, like, you know, sometimes your mind is like, maybe I should do something extra to make sure that I get that point, that I look tighter, that I look harder. Did you have that going on in your head?
Like, we just kind of kept the same thing. It didn't change the food or anything. Just kept it the same. I didn't want to, you know, it was perfect. So why change anything when it's perfect? So I rested, we kept it the same, kept the food the same, kept the prep right before, prejudging the same thing before we went on for finals, kept the same prep before, and just stuck to the same thing. And
I want to take you a little bit back to the years when you started bodybuilding, and I'm curious if there was any person in physique, any athlete that actually inspired you, right? The person that, let's say, the athlete that you've put the picture on the fridge and you said, this is the person that's going to motivate me to train harder and go for it. Was there such a situation?
I wasn't really familiar with any athletes at that time. I wasn't, you know, I just went into doing bodybuilding just to see how it was going to turn out. And so I wasn't that familiar. I just started hearing the names, and then once I did that one first show and I knew that I was going into nationals, then I started looking into it a little bit more, but I didn't know a lot of the history of bodybuilders and competitors. But and then later on, of course, you know, Shanique Grant, looking at her body, and then, you know, she's phenomenal. And just everybody, I just, you know, Sarah right now, she's amazing. But I mean, there's nobody specifically, you know, at the time, because it was still very new to me.
This leads me to another question, and I'm really curious, what does bodybuilding represent to you? What place does it have in your life right now, or how would you identify yourself in relationship to the sport?
Bodybuilding is right now, besides my family, is everything. I live, breathe, eat, dream bodybuilding. I love it. I love everything about it. I love the suffering through the whole process of the dieting. I love the whole process of seeing my body change. I love the support that I get from people. I love the support that I get from the sport itself, from other athletes, from competitors that we stay in touch with, you know, people that we compete against, we become friends, we have this bond, you know, mutual respect for each other, knowing that all the hard work that we put into it, we have that mutual respect. And I love all that about it. It's just a beautiful...
So it's almost like it gave you an added or another
purpose.
identity.
Yeah. It's just, it taught me so much. It taught me structure. It taught me discipline. It taught me to be strong, you know, to fight for what you want. You know, it just, it taught me so much, so much.
Yeah, that's always been like a really great time because during preparation, just like clarity, like it's almost like a place where we meditate, where just you become this amazing human being spiritually.
Yes.
It's just an awakening, like, yeah, and I see that and I feel that in what you were saying. It's that process
it's exactly
magical.
How I feel. It's exactly how I feel. I feel like this is my place. This is where I belong, and it fills me, you know, in every way.
That's where the strength comes from that attitude, right?
Yes.
It's a very interesting dynamic because in order to be where you are, you need strength.
Yes.
And then getting where you are, it gives you back strength to continue that dynamic, right?
100%. 100%.
That is very beautiful. So what do you like in particular about being a strong and muscular woman?
Oh, I love everything about it. I love the attention that, you know, people, I can go to the supermarket and people will be like, wow, you know.
Do you get mainly positive feedback from athletes, from mainstream?
And you know, you don't even notice, you're just buying your groceries and somebody's admiring you and you're maybe, you know, inspiring them to maybe, you know, go get fit or maybe do a next competition. Maybe it's a bucket list for them or something.
Yeah.
You know, so and then I'm just doing my daily thing. And people always ask me, they're like, how do you do it? I'm like, I just do. I don't think of it as, you know, grinding and it's so hard. It's just, I just do it.
The results of our achieving in the sport though are so much more you know, obvious than, let's say, the results of somebody being extremely successful in business or something like this, because you carry it on your body, right? You can leave your Rolls Royce at home if you're successful, but you can't leave your body back home, right? So you always carry the image of your work everywhere with you, and then people perceive you through that. And then you're right. I think that many times you just inspire people.
Yeah, it's wonderful. And I love that I can do that.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And I'm happy to hear that you have good positive results, reactions from the mainstream.
I do.
Awesome.
I mean, listen, once in a while you do get somebody that looks at you a little funny, but
nowadays I think that working out and fitness and in general wellness is very mainstream. I think that people work out more and more, and they are more and more accustomed to the image of a really muscular woman, and this is beautiful. It's different than 20 years ago, Linda, right?
Oh yes, it is.
When we had to fight for our right to bare muscles.
I can't even imagine. I can't imagine.
Yeah, it makes me so proud. Really, truly.
Yeah.
And now you're heading into the Olympia.
I am.
So what
excited.
plans do you have for that? Are you going to do any adjustments, any strategies to go into that? What do you want to bring up, or what do you want to come better with?
Definitely going to do the same as I did with Tampa. Maybe just, you know, I would like to come in a little bit more conditioned and bring up my legs a little bit more. So kind of keep it the same, but just maybe just tweak it here and there a little bit more, you know, conditioning. So, and then
and size on your legs.
Yes.
Would you see yourself ever going into the women's bodybuilding division?
Of course. Why not?
Really?
I'd like to master the women's physique first, but I'm, you know, if that's what comes my way and if I fit in there, I would love that.
Because I imagine that you are strong and you keep on lifting heavy all the time, right?
I love lifting heavy. Yeah. But
well, it's nice going into the Olympia. I mean, you know the names usually of the competitors and people, and Sarah and Natalia and all the women.
Yes.
But when you go in like the Tampa, you get to see that list. So do you look at that list, and are you? And if you haven't looked at the list before, because it doesn't matter, but now you know the people you're going up against. Yeah. And when Alina asked earlier about having somebody that you admire, you look at, like, Do you have any thoughts in your head about that competitor visualizing? Like, I just think of you guys, your glutes, and as a women's physique competitor, I think I would be like, because when you turn to the rear, that's everything. And Sarah has some amazing,
yeah.
But you got it too.
Thank you. That means a lot. But yeah, we're going to tweak it even more and make it even better.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that. Coming from the perspective of, I could really see when I asked you what bodybuilding is to you, like you got so animated and you talk with so much passion. So as our public there is mainly women, right? Do you have any advice or any inspirational words or just in general a positive message that you would like to send to the women out there that lift or compete or aspire to be one of the above?
I just want to say that keep on going, stay strong. If this is what you love to do, keep on doing it and don't give up. I mean, it took me 6 times to win my pro show and I finally got my dream come true. So just keep on going. Keep on going.
Love that.
Don't give up.
Yeah, don't give up.
Don't give up. No.
Do not give up.
100%.
It's just right around the corner.
That's right. You can taste it. It's right there.
Taste it, and you. Perfect. Yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing you on the Olympia stage.
Thank you.
We are all looking forward to seeing you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
It's been an honor. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes.
Thank you.
Well,
for being
congratulations, and we will see you on the Olympia stage.
Yes, you will.
And guys, and for that, this is a wrap with FemFlex Friday.